I would like to welcome to the stage Alex from Azarus.io to talk about massively multiplayer TV. Alex, hey! Woo!
Thanks for making it this morning, everyone. So, and if we could cue the presentation, that would be awesome. Folks in the AV over there, that would be great. That's perfect. Massively multiplayer TV. So the topic of this talk is really to try to open everyone's mind about something that you all think that you know. But as you'll see through the presentation, some words carry meanings that have changed vastly over the past 30 years. That word being TV. A bit about me. So just like Dave earlier, I know a few of you guys. Thank you. For everyone else who I don't know yet, I'm looking forward to meeting you later after the presentation. I'm French. I have a strong, thick French accent, so it's hard to deny it. And I live in San Francisco. I'm the founder of Azarus. We started back in 2018. Prior to Azarus, I created a bunch of companies, had 3 meaningful exits. And basically, you can say that throughout my career, I've always been looking at convergence of changes. And that's every time that I created a new company and new ideas was because a few things were happening around me, and I was like, wait, there's that's changing in this. How do to combine, and what's the space of opportunity that would create? So this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today, because there's some massive changes happening, and you all, if you're building games, I think that should be interesting to you. On the other track, they're talking about blockchain. I'm into blockchain. I started building on blockchain in 2016. This is my alter ego. I love it. I'm never selling it. It's my ape. I'm going to have a watch with a dial made with it. So full disclosure, my ape. That also says that I'm really passionate about digital ownership, about gaming, and about basically all this culture that has been spawning over the past couple of years around the idea of owning digital assets. All right, this is what we're going to be talking about today. This is a TV. Everyone has had one of those, maybe a more recent version, in their living rooms, probably forever, or at least somewhere in their house. TV is great for watching content, but today is so much more. And you know, since the very beginning of time, TV has always had a very unique relationship with games. Like, this was in the 80s. Remember that? Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune in the 80s, I was 8 million nightly viewers. Think about it for a second. I'm going to let that think in. 80 million people every night watching the same content at the same time. Now, when we look today, circa 2023, at successes of metaverses or massively multiplayer games, that number would make everyone pale in comparison. And that was the 80s in America, because that was not global. That's just like one blip. And just like one note, just gaming, always been there. This was an adaptation on Windows 3.1 of the Wheel of Fortune. So, you know, that relationship between TV and gaming has always been there. I'm going to get back to that one later, but you'll see how that's unique. And to the point that when you think about having 8 million people watching the same content at the same time, obviously someone is going to come up with that crazy idea, how about we get the viewers to play along? Well, guess what? That happened. This is a device made by Mattel in the late 80s, in 89. You could play along while you were watching the Wheel of Fortune. And this is kind of interesting. Again, 8 million people watching the same content at the same time. They're all going to play together. And so this is, I'm not sure if you can read from back there, but this is an article from the New York Times. They were calling it in '89. It's the dawn of TV. Interactive TV are taking over. You are not going to be a couch potato in front of your TV anymore. I think they called it a bit early, but definitely it's clearly an artifact of the future. Now, since we're talking about peripherals on the TV, TV has a history of having so many stuff attached to it. And to really carries along with the evolution of broadcast. So one of the things, of course, like basic TV needed an antenna. The antenna wasn't good enough. You needed a signal booster. Then you needed a way to change signals. Then, hey, how about we play Pong? That was cool. You get more channels, and the cat is happy. You can record them. You can browse the web. So that was web TV in the 90s, if you guys remember. The good experiment trying to get people to access the web from the TV, because that's the thing that everybody has. Then CDs, TiVo, Blu-rays, and finally the Apple TV. So all that evolution just shows one thing, is that through those different attachments, going from radio frequency to cable to DSL, we have kept iterating on how we bring content to the TV and what type of content we bring. So, how big is TV? Well, it's pretty big. Like, people watch literally hours on average every day in households. Again, what's really interesting is if you compare that with mobile or any other medium, web, TV draws more attention than any one of those. So again, like coming from the gaming background, you look at those numbers, you're like, wait, what? It's still that big? Because we all play games, we spend time on different screens, and yet TV still predominantly crushes everyone when it comes to capturing attention. Another thing, like we were raving about those 8 million for the Wheel of Fortune in the 80s. Super Bowl, we're talking about hundreds of millions of people watching the Super Bowl at the same time. So it's kind of interesting to think about it, because at this rate, if you take sports, like an arena of the Super Bowl is what, like 100,000 people? But there's 100 million watching. So TV really becomes like a loudspeaker, a megaphone, where everybody is doing the same thing at the same time at a scale, at a world scale. And so there's a few things that have happened over the past 10 years that you may or may not seen. So you all in the US had the Wheel of Fortune. In France, we had the Quizzaco, very funny name. But basically, so many countries had the same type of devices allowing people to play along. And with pretty decent numbers, like 40K average MAU in 92, that's not too bad. We had the second screen. Who remembers the second screen? That was raving in the 2000s. People trying to get soccer fans to chat together while watching soccer. Well, it's a good idea. Like everybody's watching the same content at the same time. You are passionate about it. Why shouldn't you be able to chat about it? Well, it turns out having a second screen kind of like breaks it. Doesn't really help. But it's a good idea. Everybody knows that, I guess. Netflix, Bandersnatch. That's the first time that you were actually able to watch a movie and choose right on your screen with the remote control you already had what was going to happen. That's a great artifact of the future. There was only one, though, because it's so hard to build. You actually have to create the content and work all those ways, like in a Which Way book, but with video. It takes a lot of commitment to build one of those episodes. Another one, TV connected to blockchain. Like this is Love, Death, Robots. There you could mint an NFT if you could find the right code hidden in the episode. So again, connecting, and you can see a pattern here. The TV has been a medium connecting dots between the content being broadcasted and the actual digital nature of that content and the audience watching it. And it's really like all those connections happening in so many different and weird ways, from minting NFTs to playing along to trying to win prizes on the Wheel of Fortune and win some real dollars like the actual show contestants. It's coming together, but still very fragmented. Like it's complicated. You need the app, you need a second screen, you need a device. Well, this is kind of changing now, because this screen in your TV has nothing to do with the one that I showed earlier. This is not a TV. We still call that a TV, though. And I think we actually reducing what this screen in everyone's home is actually doing. It's not a TV. 30 years later, we have streaming, and the internet has unified everything that we've seen before that I've showed you, all those artifacts, all those devices. Now everything from the content to the interaction, everything comes through the internet, right to the device. And in many cases, people have cut the cord and not using cable or anything else. It's purely through the internet. And this changes things. Because all of a sudden, well, if every screen is an internet video player, actually, there's already technology in that video player that makes it a game console. And this technology has been developed by the broadcast industry over the past 10 years, 20 years, because, I mean, I always say that with a little nudge, but cable TV has been trying to sell you pizza on TV for 20 years. So they've built so many things that are crazy, but they never thought that we can actually just run games on it. And that's what we started doing 4 years ago, running games over existing broadcasts instead of having ads or whatnot. We're just pushing a game. It's pretty funny. And this is our thesis. It's really that interactivity is the next evolution of TV. And so when you watch a content, and this is really something that you all need to imagine, like what could you add to it? If you were able to put a button, what would it do? If you were able to consider that screen not just as a one-person screen that you are watching, but it's actually a window to the biggest digital stadium, how would you create an experience that would make things different? We built a platform to allow you to do that. So our protocol basically lets you build, distribute, and monetize games that are pushed through the HLS feed, through the video feed, and show up magically on any screen. It works on every screen today, from your Apple TV to your Google TV to whatever. It's extremely simple to build. You take any one of the skills that you already have. If you know how to use a game engine, you can build on others. We support default, but literally any game engine that generates WebGL games will work with us. And in case of if you're wondering, is that a pipe dream? It's not. We've been doing that on Twitch for a couple of years now. We have a really good relationship with the platform. And last year, we had 18 million uniques, 18 million unique people clicking buttons in our games on Twitch. And this is really what blows me away. It's like you have, back to what I was saying, like those 8 million watching Wheel of Fortune, those 100 million watching the Super Bowl. I guarantee you, if you put a button on the screen and it's easy, people click it. And in 2023, when it's so hard to compete for attention, to get a game being downloaded or discovered on the App Store, on the Steam Store, this is like a totally virgin island. You have hundreds of millions of people already watching a channel. That's pretty cool. So those are the type of games that we've done. We have some trivia games. Those ones are sponsored by Logitech. Those games let you earn points. There's a wallet on the stream that we push, so you are able to earn or spend or use coins that through the experience. It's a very small game, like 30 seconds, 1 minute, super easy. Those games get up to 100% of engagement rate on channels on Twitch. And if you think about it, 100%, you have everybody who's watching, who's playing at the same time, because it's massively multiplayer. You have the creator talking about it and playing along. You can see everybody who's playing at the same time. Those are other examples about like more prediction games. This is like a very fun one that we tried out. It's like a mini Flappy Bird. For 30 seconds, everybody tries to get as far as they can from the level, because Red Bull gives you wings. And it scales. Just on Twitch, last year we were on the Streamer Awards. That's 500,000 people watching and playing at the same time. So this is today. Everything that I've been basically telling you from the beginning of this presentation, it's a conversion that's happening now. People are massively watching content through the internet. They already have the devices, and there is a technology that lets you create games and push them in front of their eyes. So really the question you should be asking, what can I do with that? How would I invent a new type of experiences that leverages the potential of this medium that literally nobody is building on today? So we call that massively interactive streams. On Twitch, which is, again, where we've had most experience so far. We're also on some other platforms, but like Twitch is definitely by far our biggest. People love it. Like literally, the creators love it. The viewers love it, because it's like literally, it's fun to get to realize that you, for a few seconds, you get to connect and to interact with everyone else who's watching. it creates that unique experience. It's short, it's simple, but it's also fulfilling because you realize like everybody's doing it. Let's see if I can win and get on the top of that leaderboard for a second. And if you don't, it's not a big deal. It's gonna come back maybe in an hour or so. But yeah, it's fun for literally the audience and the creator. The stream is the wallet. As I mentioned earlier, I believe strongly into digital ownership. I think this ties into the story. If you watch some content like the Steph Curry blog from Jay Morant from the playoffs, and someone mints this NFT, I would like to be able to bid right there on the stream when it happens. So the platform lets you do that. I think there's a ton of experience. If you see someone drawing something on the stream and you want to start bidding on it while it's happening, that works too. So all these things are tied to the fact that we know who we give you a wallet, and we let you use it very simply through all those games that you build. The platform lets you build, distribute, monetize. If you guys are a game developer, which I hope that some of you in the audience are, this is a game engine. It's default. It was made by King back in the days. It's fully open source, and we've modified it so that you have access to a wallet and a massively multiplayer backend. So super simple to use. If you've used a game engine before, this is simple. We like this one specifically because it's very lightweight and creates some very, some optimized WebGL games. Really easy to build 2D experiences on it. And yeah, that's it. Right on time, I guess. So to finish this talk, I would say that if you guys want to try and build on the platform, scan the QR code on the left. We have some developer grants with our tokens to help you get started and to build new experiences. But beyond this, what I want you guys really to take away here is that what we call a TV is not a TV anymore. It's a game console and does not require to put an Xbox or a PlayStation to play. You already have everything with a remote control, or if you're watching ESPN on your phone or YouTube TV on your PC, all those medium that are basically internet video players, they're compatible. You can create content, and it's really up to you to figure out, well, with that capability, what are the experiences that we can actually bring to the table? How are we going to make this medium evolve? Because this is not a TV anymore, and we are restarting a new leg of the journey of the medium, which is interactivity. So we need to define and to invent really what is that going to mean? What are the experiences that we will come to expect when we turn on that big screen in the living room? Thank you, everyone.
Well done, Alex. Thanks, Alex. That was great. Really interesting.
It's not working.
Hello. Hello. Thanks. Thank you, Alex. That was great. Does anyone have any questions? We're about 5 minutes behind in this room, but we can take time for a question or two if anyone has them. Well, Oscar, great. Thank you.
So I love the interactivity. I love the fact you're trying to use the devices in people's houses that they're often neglecting now. But I'm still crypto shy. How can somebody who wants to try and not necessarily get involved in the crypto side of things and keep a kind of cleaner brand, but understands the value of the technology, engage with the kind of stuff that you're doing?
That's a great question. So when we built the protocol, from the beginning, we decided that we did not want to be pushing crypto on the audience. So like you saw that those 18 million uniques that we had last year, probably none of them, 0.001% is aware that the other coin is a crypto that you could unwrap and use. So it's the whole point here, it's not about crypto, it's not about blockchain, it's about ownership, it's about identity, and it's about being able to, if you win something, it's yours, you own it, and you're able to use it the way you want. And if you go from one chain to another, you'll find your identity, your wallet, and everything. So all the wallets that I showed earlier, they're custodial. You can, of course, unwrap and take ownership and go on that rabbit hole if you're really a degen and understand how this works. I think it's going to take time, and our challenge here is really enabling new type of experiences and putting the building blocks, not forcing people into a direction.
Perfect, thank you. Great, love the presentation. And for those who maybe weren't here right at the start, it was a great way to show how the TV in the living room has always been interactive. I love that as well, about the peripherals and so on.
Well, especially in front of, when you're watching soccer with friends. Very interactive, for other reasons.
Exactly. And of course, if you did miss that, remember you can watch it on the recording. So we're recording everything, so we'll send you a link to that later. Thank you very much, Alex, thank you.